If tomorrow the Ambazonians failed to achieve independence, they will blame themselves and nobody but themselves because of the terrible strategy that they used in Southern Cameroon. Welcome to TFA Talking Point. This is a topic we started some few days behind, looking at the wrong strategy, the terrible strategy used by the military of the Cameroon government, the government of Cameroon, the Ambazonian leaders, and the Ambazonian fighters in Southern Cameroon. And this terrible strategy is fully responsible or are fully responsible for more than 8,000 Southern Cameroonians who have been killed. This terrible strategy are fully responsible for more than 250 villages burnt down. These terrible strategies are fully responsible for more than 2 million Southern Cameroonians who are suffering in neighboring countries, in other cities in Cameroon as IDP, and in the forest, living like elements. These wrong strategies. Our last video we were pointing and pinpointing the wrong strategy or the terrible strategy used by the military of the Cameroon government. And this second video, we are going to mention all the terrible or some of the terrible strategies used by the Ambazonians in order to achieve their aim in Southern Cameroon. We are going to take you right to 2016 to tell you why Ambazonia became part of the struggle. You know quite all right. If you have been following the Anglophone crisis, you discover that the Anglophone crisis in 2016, Ambazonia were not involved in it. Ambazonia were not involved in it. It started with the lawyers and the teachers. And they came out and they did not just suddenly came out. They have been planning and they were having perfect strategy in order to pressurize the government to stop marginalizing Southern Cameroonians, to stop maltreating Southern Cameroonians. And they were achieving it through the committee that the government sent. They were achieving it. That is why when they saw that they have pressurized the government to the point that the government will yield to their demands, they were increasing the things. They wanted to achieve everything. And the last thing on their list was what? Was federation. That to guarantee all that the government, because the government during the last meeting, the government promised to fulfill 21 out of the 25 points at the table before the government. So they say, meaning this government can be afraid. So they put in federation as a guarantee to be sure that the government will do it. So federation should come in. And if things were okay in 2017, the government could have gone in for federation, which could have been better for Southern Cameroon and could have maybe give way to Ambazonia to plan very well in order to use the federal system to separate from Cameroon. But the Ambazonia suddenly appeared from nowhere in 2017 and jumped into. They took advantage of the strike or the anger that the population was already having in 2016, the teachers and the lawyers were having, and the group of Mancho BBC who came out on the 8th of December 2016. They were not in support of they did not even know anything concerning Amazonia. They came out demanding, crying to the government about the terrible condition they are living in Bamenda, the condition of the route in Bamenda. That is what Mancho BBC and the citizens of Bamenda came out. And then when the Ambazonia now, that was already existing many years ago, Ambazonia was already existing. People in Southern Cameroon who want separation, they were already there, but they never have any strategy. So they took advantage of the anger that was going on at the end of 2016 and jumped into and say, okay, this is the right time for us to do this without any proper preparation. And this jumping in, and that is what I keep on telling people. You should never jump into a fight without preparing. You should never. Because there is a statement that failure to plan is planning to fail. Fighting a government requires a lot. And Ambazonia was supposed to sit and support behind the teachers and the lawyers to achieve federation, so that they will come in now gradually prepare themselves under the federal system before taking any strategy in order to ask for federation, for separation. But no, they just jumped in and thought that they will pressurize the government and the government will give up. And then they came in with terrible strategy, like one, asking the children to stay home. That is one of the most terrible strategies that the Ambazonians used. And I believe they are still using it today, though they ask private school and mission school to be operational, in which they are not even, because all those proprietors went bankrupt. Meaning the strategy is still in force. That is the worst strategy. I can tell you. We took the fundamental right of our own children in order to make our enemy angry. President Paul Biya was not happy the way Southern Cameroonians were being educated. They were acquiring a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge was a threat to the government of Paul Biya. And Paul Biya seen an opportunity that can frustrate Southern Cameroonians and force them to be illiterate. He welcomed it. So, indirectly, you people help President Paul Biya to achieve one of his aims, keeping our children home. And many of these children, we don't know where they are today. Many of them became frustrated. Many of them have been assimilated in Francophone regions because they went there to school. And many of them have been killed. It is terrible. That was one of the terrible mistakes. The second mistake that I believe, if tomorrow Ambazonia fail to achieve their independence, it is because of this particular mistake. Calling your own, killing your own, torturing your own for having a different opinion. Calling people black leg without any proper investigation and killing them. Using a killing as the only penalty. Thousands of people have been killed in Southern Cameroon by who? By the Ambazonians, for just little mistake that they were not even supposed to be punished for it, but they were killed. Calling them black leg. I have been asking Ambazonia this particular question. That in 2017, these very people you are calling black leg today, they gave you weapons. They supported you. Nearly all Southern Cameroonians supported Ambazonia because of the anger in 2016. They supported Ambazonia in 2017. And people like Nijon Fronde supported Ambazonia. People like Weber Joseph supported Ambazonia. I remember that Weber Joseph went to Nkumbu, and nearly all parliamentarians from Northwest region went with him. And they were marching and supporting Ambazonia. Yet, these very people today, you look at them and consider them enemies. Why? This is the worst strategy. And this is the main strategy that has frustrated the struggle of the Ambazonia. Because many of these people become angry and they did not know where to run to. And many of them prefer to run to the military and expose a lot of things regarding the Ambazonia. It was a terrible strategy. Punishing your own self for your enemies to be angry. And that is the third strategy that the Ambazonia were using. That was one of the terrible strategies. I keep on telling people that you cannot punish yourself for your enemies to be angry. You are fighting with somebody, and instead for you to beat or to punish that person, you turn back and punish your child, punish your wife, punish your father, punish your uncle, punish yourself instead of punishing the enemies. And you are expecting that after killing my father, my enemy will be angry. In which your enemy is struggling to kill your father, you help your enemy to kill your father, to kill your relative, to inflict pains on yourself. And he is just sitting and laughing and celebrating. That is one of the worst mistakes. Another terrible strategy that the Ambazonians used is intimidation, instilling fear, planting fear in the heart of, believing that when all Southern Cameroonians will be afraid of them, they will be using them to achieve their aim. There is a popular saying that when you force somebody to respect you, the day that person will discover himself and say, today enough is enough, all the respect and all the honor that you have taken upon yourself will be destroyed in a second. And this is exactly what, instead of Ambazonia in 2017, after gaining everybody to themselves, to struggle by opposite women to maintain that cordial relationship with them, they reach a certain point and think that, the population, they are stupid. And they started using them, forcing them, intimidating them, planting fear in them. When you push somebody to a limit, there is nothing the person can do apart from turning to face the worst. And that is what Southern Cameroon turned against Ambazonia. And we saw many of them came out without any fear to say we don't want Ambazonia. Another worst strategy used by the Ambazonia was to create a government that is 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 or 1 million kilometers away from the battlefield. That is the leaders. These are the people that frustrated. They came in for their selfish interests. Some of them came in to look for position within the government. Some of them came in as a traitor. Some of them came in because of their selfish interests. Some of them came in to settle their problems with other Southern Cameroonians. And that is why they were giving orders. Go and kidnap this person. Go and kill this person. Go and do this person. And that is it. And today, we are talking about Ambazonia with more than 8 different governments, 8 different presidents. That if they take over power today, that if something just happened and then they say, Ambazonia, this is your independence, who will be president? Any little problem within their leadership, their executive, one person will just say, no, I'm no more there. Go and create his own government. And you people want to govern a country. No, you people are joking. These are terrible strategy. And when you join this strategy of the terrible strategy of the Ambazonia fighters or the Ambazonia together with the terrible strategy that I mentioned last week of the military of the Cameroon government and the Cameroon government, you join them together, you will see clearly why more than 8,000 people have been killed in Southern Cameroon. You will see clearly why more than 250 villages have been burnt down. You will see clearly why life is terrible in Southern Cameroon, why people have to flee and prefer living in the forest, suffering in Francophone regions and in Nigeria. You will see clearly why more than half of the population of Southern Cameroon has gone below poverty line. When you join this strategy together, just follow up and hear or see what is happening in Big Babanki and Bello today that I'm talking, the 15th of June 2023. The military are doing terrible things there together with the Ambazonia. In the name of they are searching for Ambazonia, but punishing the population. Just follow up and look at what these guys at Didi Arocentos, they are doing. pointing people and naming them Ambazonian, and they are killing them. Any Southern Cameroonians that they are having problem with, they will just point the person and say the person is supporting Ambazonian, the person is sponsoring Ambazonian, the person is an Ambazonian, and the government will kill the person without any investigation. Just look what Moja Moja is doing, and you will understand why we are in